Hey, hey, hey! We're live, Game Toppers Live, question and answer number 4. I am your host, Berkey, and my production engineer extravaganza, super guy, awesome maker of things happening, Josiah. Yeah, there it is. I like to massage his heart. Yes, yes. Greetings, everyone, and may the 4th be with you. Yes, 4th it is. Well, you know you're funny when you laugh at your own jokes. Or maybe not. Crickets. Hey, we're so glad to see you all again. Hopefully these question and answer sessions are helpful. If we find that maybe we've done a good job answering enough questions with our facts and campaign videos, maybe we'll do less of these, but we'd love to hear from you and get your feedback if this is helpful. We love interacting with our backers. You know, it can be exhausting at times. We're working very hard, but at the same point, we always want to engage with you. We want to get your feedback. We want to know how we can help you if there's any questions. And for instance, when we go through this campaign, if or through this question and answer, if we miss your question, please come back. We'll try to answer them concisely, but sometimes it needs a little broader explanation. And today we're going to actually talk about our dining covers. You'll notice there's a YouTube video up on our YouTube channel where you can actually look at that and see several of the multi-use functions. We really should have called it a dining gaming cover. Kind of a little bit of an oversight on my point because the cover actually serves a lot more functions than just being a dining cover. And we wanted to show that a little bit better and give you some of the new thoughts that we have been working with our engineers to make it even more versatile. So we're definitely listening to everyone's concerns and finding out what's doable, what's manufacturable, how to make things better if possible. We've put a ton of thought into it already, so it's not like it was a thoughtless process. But we always want to get better, and sometimes, you know, we can miss things. So with that, I see Chris Goodlet's here. Hey, hey, the charity board gamer.
Says, playing some fun games in the topper this week. May the 4th be with you. And Chris Hopper on YouTube may not be able to be on for the whole thing, but keep up the good work. Love your guys' hard work.
Thanks so much. I sure appreciate it.
We've got Mark Livergood in the chat.
Hey, hey, Mark.
Luna Vite, hello to France.
Vive la France.
Looks like more comments coming in here. Dirk says, as you guys can guess by now, really enjoy being able to interact with you guys in these Q&As. Today's Q, what's the best way to care for the wood rails from inevitable dust to months of routine gaming?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, our rails, we have our standard powder coated black, which really you can just pretty much polish with the dust cloth, wash off. But our wood products, we have 2 styles. We have the solid oak, and then with the HDPE corners, and then we have the premium walnut. Love these luxuriant products. They give you that heirloom feel that just goes another notch if you're looking for that wood type of feel. The finish that is on this product is a real heavy duty catalytic finish. It's almost marine grade hardness. There's several different processes that they go through when they sand these and recoat them so that it has good hardness. But it is a wood product. You don't want to leave water sitting on it, or, you know, have a key get scratched on it. You know, it is wood, so we have to treat it like that. But generally, just your normal furniture polishes work very good. I like to use an Old English scratch cover that I use that works as a really nice finish to bring out if there's ever becomes any blemishes. It's available at most of your stores that you're going to find, Walmart or Target or those type of things. But you can use your normal polishes if you like, but polishes can kind of get a buildup, especially your cheaper ones like Pledge and things like that.
164 Dragon Master says, good afternoon. What is the max weight for the cup holders?
Max weight. Well, I'm not sure if they could hold a Berkey, but the tables hold a Berkey, but they're actually really heavy duty products. This here product for the single cup holder, for instance, you can see the design on the back is channeled out. And this is made out of a heavy duty nylon ABS type of plastic. I can take these and just throw them. You won't be able to see it here, but I'm going to throw it on the floor, and it's a concrete floor.
Hopefully that wasn't too loud.
Yeah, that was probably really loud. I never worry about it a lick. They're super durable. The aluminum rail can handle an incredible amount of downward force. If you have your rail supported by your under table, when this locks in the rail, I can put probably close to 50 to 100 pounds of pressure. I don't think that I could break it.
Yeah, you'd probably have to either sit on it or like almost jump to sit on it.
And even then, I think it might just pop out of the rail with that much exertion because this product, it's just, I haven't done stress tests on the actual product, but there probably is a spec on it, but it's very significant. Our double tray, you can actually put a full laptop computer on it with zero problem. And one of the cool things, you know, the double trays and the single trays, these are the same dimension. So when they stick out of the rail, you can just keep adding to it to make a big shelf. So if you want to have your armies set up for your different things, or you want to have a tablet or a notebook computer, you can do that.
Trent Turner says, hello, everybody.
Hey, Trent, our good buddy.
Stefan asks, greetings from Hamburg, Germany. Are there any plans for additional accessories for role players? Flatboards on the railing for the players or a desk for the GM? Well,
we're going to actually talk about our dining cover today, and we're going to show you some of the functionality of our dining gaming cover for specifically DM. We shot pictures of Josiah, who plays a lot of D&D and BattleTech and other role-playing games. We've played the Star Wars system, and this is a really cool feature for that. We've also partnered with Dogmite Games to do our sculpted rails, and they make some amazing DM screens that we highly recommend. So check out Dogmite Games. We have trays and dice towers and dice accessories that help with that process. But currently, we're not manufacturing our own DM screens, and that we've rather partnered with some other people in the industry that we love and respect and like to work with. So, great question.
Dirk says, thank you. And the Charity Board Gamer says, quickly went to watch the dining cover and loved what I saw.
Oh, cool. Thanks so much. We're going to actually go through this video with everybody. We'll maybe wait a few moments here to see if there's any other quick questions. But what we want to do with our leg kits, for instance, it's so hard to communicate in graphics what these are. For those of you that haven't come to know us as a company, maybe this is the first time you've joined Game Toppers and you've just heard about our product, but you haven't actually touched it or seen it in use. The regular comment that we get regularly when we send a topper to a backer, to a customer, is they say, this is way better than I thought. And pictures just don't do it justice. This has to do with the quality of materials that we use, the attention to detail that we do our best to make sure we have quality control measures in place. And really, it's about the standards that I have. I say this often, it's probably a little cliche, but if it's not good enough for my home, it's not good enough for your home. And I believe that. I don't want you to have something that's not going to really last the test of time. We have these toppers, man. We have 30 of them at the Board Game Geek BGG Con in the Hot Games Room, and it's been there for like 5 or 6 conventions. We have like 30 publishers, including some large publishers like Cool Mini or Not, CMON, AEG, Renegade Game Studios, Gray Fox Games, Academy Games, Capstone Games, and I mean, I could go on and on of all the game companies that use our toppers in their show kits in heavy convention use, getting packed up quickly, all that kind of stuff, and they still look like $1 million. And that has to do with how we've constructed the products. So anyway, that's one of the reasons I think you're finding that our product is going to really hold up well and be more than you expect.
So do we want to go into the video now?
Yeah, let's go. We're going to, to my point about the videos, we have placed on the Kickstarter campaign now the most recent question and answer at the top of the campaign. I know that's a little strange because usually you want to show people the brand new stuff, but this is just a question and answer, but easily viewed. All the past question and answers are at the bottom of the page, so you can go back and see that. You'll see that where we went in in-depth detail about our leg kits, the cross supports. It was really a good video, and we referenced the video that's on our YouTube channel showing you how it's made, and so you can actually see how sturdy they are. That's what's intended with this dining cover video as well.
Quick question from Shai here. Says, Shalom from Israel.
Shalom.
Is the wood versions of the tables waterproof?
Essentially, as much as wood is, you don't want to leave water sitting on wood, but we use a very hard catalytic finish that's close to marine grade quality. And it's very hard, but again, water will find a way. Water is always the enemy, so you want to wipe things up good, but they're very good quality finish.
And Nicholas asks, says, thank you for these Q&As. You guys rock. I love my home stopper and I'm excited for the dining cover. What recommendations do you have for cleaning any of your game mats should accidents happen? Oh,
this is a great question. We have this question a lot. The top of our game mats is polyester. The back is a vulcanized rubber type of neoprene that has non-skid surface so it doesn't move. The neoprene rubber would be subject to heat issues if you put it in a hot washing machine, for instance, and or a hot dryer, which we would never recommend. You can have shrinkage issues. The polyester top will be a little bit stain resistant just by its properties of the heat sublimation printing that's on it, and the print quality is really good. Normally, spot washing is the best thing to do, just hot soap and water. If you have something that has more grease in the stain, you know, like a ketchup stain or a mustard stain, you'd want to probably use something a little bit more like a Dawn dishwashing. You want to dilute it and you want to pat dry rather than rub it into the fibers. We do know people, our good friend Jamie Keggy of the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast, he has told stories about taking a shower with his game mats to clean them and then hanging them over a shower. We do recommend, if you did put it in a washing machine on a cold, gentle cycle, make sure then that you lay it flat or over a curtain rod or a shower curtain, that type of thing, and not allow it to, you don't want it to lose its memory of its shape. Generally speaking, it will come back to its original memory, but that's the best way to treat them. Great question.
Cool.
So with that, we're going to go right into this video with you, and we're going to allow you to listen to the music. So you can keep that up a little bit. I can talk over it if needed. And here we go with our dining.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to turn off the audio then. Otherwise, it'll be overpowering.
Okay. You can hear me over it, right?
Yes, but I'll have to turn off the audio from the... So we don't hear duplicate.
Oh, gotcha. All right, here we go.
Not quite yet. All right.
This here is showing the Kickstarter special. You're seeing our home game room there, and you see how easy this is to set up. You'll see the nice rounded edge there. That chafer is very comfortable on your arms. These interlock just really simply. We have a really nice padded storage bag that you're going to see as a stretch goal shortly. And you notice how they go edge to edge where it covers the wood. So whether you have a luxuriant model or a standard, it's going to cover the wood with the exception of a little bit of that corner block. That's the Viking sculpted topper we have. There's no sharp edges. You don't have to worry about a plate hanging over or causing any problems. It matches really nicely with the contoured edge. That was very deliberate. This powder coat finish is nice and sleek looking also. And now we have it as a role-playing shelf. This is on our dungeon mat. Josiah is an amazing painter, but he hasn't painted that dragon yet. You could do that in your spare time, right, Josiah? This is a DM screen from Dogmite Games that Josiah owns. He's got that's the dungeon mat with the 1-inch squares. You'll notice that we have actually a tape, just like on the bottom of the rails, so that it will actually protect your rails. There you go. We have a lot of questions that have come in about the leg kits and the dining covers. So feel free to ask us any questions you want, but we're kind of focusing a little bit while this video is fresh. If you have any questions that we can answer, one thing that we have made a slight redesign in is that we're going to run those flush to the top, which is actually going to give an extra 1/4 of an inch of gap in the well. The gaming vault is 1.5 inches, so 1.5 inches, but your mat takes up 3 millimeters. So you're going to get, close to a little over 1.25 inches, almost 1 3/8 inches. So most games, you'll be able to still stay set up. The problem with games that have taller tokens or miniatures, obviously you'd have to lay those down. You're not going to play Dwellings of Eldervale and leave all the monsters out there. But most of the other things are fine. If you have a game that has huge stacks of cards or something like that, you might have to make slight adjustments. But again, one of the big features of the Game Topper is that our vault is not 3 or 4 inches deep like some other products, and nothing wrong with those. But a lot of people don't like that, looking down into a craps table. And by doing so, the ergonomics, the way your head is tilted down, the Game Topper system has an elevated floor, which really helps your visual acuity. It also helps your posture. People say this all the time. Man, I've been playing this game for 3 hours and my back doesn't hurt. My neck isn't hurting. And so while we have these amazing features of our system with the rails to be able to put on the components and cup holders with this elevated floor, that there is a disadvantage if you want to cover it with putting games for miniatures. The simple fix around that is you could block up your cover just a little bit, whether with some wood blocks. We could even maybe look into a foam solution where you could have little foam blocks. The problem with trying to do that at this stage for us is putting that as another product in the campaign would be a little bit difficult, and to figure out all the logistics of it. But that's a simple fix if that's a major issue. That being said, this is a really versatile solution. And please understand, if we were doing a solid hardwood top, I mean, you're talking $400 to $800, and wood right now is high demand, very expensive. It has its own issues too, trust me. This was designed to be a good solution that looks good, will be serviceable, will last, provide you functionality, but not cost you $500-$600. So please take that in mind when we're trying to offer solutions. We want quality, but we're trying to make it affordable. And you just can't do everything unless you're doing huge amounts of volume, which we're not quite at that level where we can just produce 1,000 of everything every time we do something. So I see we have some questions.
Yeah, Daryl asks, is there an option for getting just one end piece of the cover for the DM desk?
That's a great question, and that's a possibility. Honestly, the shipping and the packaging becomes a little bit of an issue. So logistically, there are other expenses that once it's all said and done, you can almost get the package. Not quite, but we have that same concern when people want to do a 24-inch extension leaf. And we've actually come up with a really cool solution so that we can offer the 24 inches and how that will create some versatility for your dining cover if you have some of our other options like the XL leaf, or if you have the accessory rail that you want to make the smaller topper. Josiah, maybe talk about that for a few minutes about our thoughts.
Yeah, so we're just going through and adjusting some of the sizes of the different pieces. So if we go down to the middle sections being 12 inches on the top side when they're together, you end up getting segments that you can put in. You have to put in a couple more of them because they're smaller, but then you end up being able to service the Lestrade, the Adler, the 3x5 if you had a Holmes half and then a leaf with the rail, and also the full Holmes topper and Holmes XL, Holmes XXL, Holmes XXXXL. So it can really fit any of those sizes. And the same thing for the Watson is you can get it to where you can fit the Watson with a leaf to get the larger size. So.
And I know I've had a one particular question about someone that has a Hudson. The Hudson is half of the Watson when you put the accessory rail on there. Well, the inside vault on that is 30 by 38 inches. So how do you make a 15-inch end piece and a 12-inch piece work with that? Well, that's what we were discussing on how to do that by putting the two end pieces on the Hudson. It wouldn't go all the way to the edge on two sides. On the other two sides, it would be normal, but it would still cover the vault. So while it's not like perfect dimensionally, there's no other way to do it than making individual ones. And honestly, there just wouldn't be enough demand for a few folks that are just using a Hudson topper, for instance, that they want to cover for, but it'll still be a decent solution. But this other solution with the Sherlock Holmes model, 3 foot by 6 foot, by doing these leaves, all of a sudden we can take care of the center the way it's needed, and then also take care of the Lestrade. We have a lot of Lestrade owners and a lot of people starting to own a Lestrade and buying a 24-inch extension leaf to make a 3x5 table. In fact, that's why we've unlocked or why we started selling 3x5 game mats, and we're about to unlock like 16 styles, or was it 12 or 16 styles in the 3x5 as a future stretch goal, just so people can have more options and variety with that. So yes, Daryl, we're working on a package where these things can be purchased. I haven't priced that out separately yet because of the packaging concern. And packaging right now is a fortune, and I need to make sure it gets delivered to you safely. So it is possible, but there's going to be a little bit of a premium to do it that way.
D-shelled Turtle asks, are the dining covers waterproof? Will they protect liquid from dripping down to the play area?
Yeah, they are a powder-coated MDF. And now this isn't a normal MDF, okay? This is a type that they use for countertops in hospitals, for restaurants, or not restaurants, excuse me, hotels. And they're very good to wipe stains off of, things of that nature. It's the same material that we use for our J.J. Berkton and the Lord Berkton racks. They've worked really well. They're very nice looking. But it is still a wood product. So wood is subject to humidity. I can't fix that. The product is sealed, but if a lot of water was sitting on it for a long time, you could have some failures regarding the property of humidity in wood. Also finish, you even just put water on the best of finishes, that can cause you problems with staining and losing the integrity of the finish. So generally speaking, yes, does a good job. There's an interlocking lip that'll mostly protect. If you wipe it up quickly, you'll want to wipe up the groove also. But I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of different products out there, and water just finds a way. So don't believe the hype if you think it's just totally waterproof. It's not. This is not a totally sealed product. That requires a lot of extra engineering with gaskets to make that really that way.
Nicholas says, gaming/dining covers look great. Just take my money already.
I love that. I love that with the memes and they take my money. Yes, we want to do that. It always makes me laugh.
Need to get some video clips in here so I can throw some random memes.
Yeah, so I can help your post-production here, right? Or your pre-production.
Mark asks, can you take the Holmes dining cover and make 2 Lestrade covers? I have extra rails which allow me to make 2 Lestrades for my Holmes. So you wouldn't be able to make 2 Lestrade covers, but you'd be able to make
15
one.
15 and 15. Yeah, you'd make one with the 2 ends, right?
And then you'd have the same thing with the Hudson, where you could use the 2 middle sections and they wouldn't go over the end rails of the Lestrade. But
yeah, it would work, but they wouldn't have the same.
Actually, yeah, because it'd be the 3.
Yeah, it'd be the 3. You wouldn't have the same bevel on the one side. You'd have a sharper edge, so it would cover it essentially. But there again, that like Daryl mentioned, it might be advantageous for us to be able to offer some extra end pieces for this multifunctional use for shelves, gaming DM type of shelf, workspace, and or some of these solutions. We'll look into that a little bit, but.
We have a question from Aaron asking, how do I determine the size of topper I need? I currently use a 30 by 72 lifetime folding table.
Great. It's a very good question. That actually works as a great solution. We generally recommend, because underneath our rails, going perpendicular are these cross supports, and each section of our toppers have 2 of them, and they all have that 3M rubberized material underneath. And what that does is that creates a whole platform that your topper sits on top of the table and can overhang as much as 7 to 9 inches. We know people that do more than that. We just try to recommend that the topper won't move off the table, actually. That's the crazy part. Most people are like, how does it stay on there? Just this friction footprint and the engineering of it all tied together causes it to work the way it does. It makes those cheaper plastic tables actually stabilize somewhat. It's crazy how good it is. But anyway, our general recommendation is to stay under 7 inches of overhang on any side. Secondly, if you want a perfect connection where every rail is supported and you virtually will have no movement at all, 1 inch under the outside dimension of the topper. Watson is 45 by 67 outside dimension. So if you had a 44 by 66 table, every rail would be fully supported and you wouldn't move it at all. there's a sizing chart on the bottom of the Kickstarter page that shows the play area and the outside dimension in inches and centimeters for our friends across the world. Likewise, I can never get the conversion quite right.
Yeah. But on a 30 by 72, the Holmes or the Watson would both fit on that table very well. The Watson would have a little bit of your under table showing on the ends.
Correct.
And the Holmes would go over a little bit. So
that's what most of the publishers and most of the retailers actually use for the Sherlock Holmes model. That was actually designed for that particular use, because most people have one of those 6-foot plastic folding tables, and they actually perform really well. So it's not a bad solution. Our leg kit solution is firmer than that. It's better than that. And it's portable, so you don't have to, have a full table to haul around to game night or that type of thing. So
Daryl asks, if I get the leg kits, what will I have to do to split my Watson into 2 Hudsons with legs?
Basically, all you have to do in that scenario is just get 2 leg kits. When you take the rail and put on half of your Watson, that's when you'll have to have that extra corner bracket then to attach to that rail that you just attached. And as long as you leave it like that, you can, the 2 brackets on the other side, the opposing side, they don't have to be taken off ever. You can still use it as a topper. They're recessed, so no problem with all that. But when you put the rail on, and then obviously when you take the rail off, you're going to want to take that off. Technically, you could leave it there and have it attached one side for later use. But if you're going to use your Watson as a leg table, then you'd have to take that one corner bracket that you just put on next to the accessory rail and put in the center support. And there's not room for the bracket and the center support, if that makes sense. But it's very easy to just get 2 leg kits, and you could actually have 2 smaller tables for game night, playing smaller games, card games, all that.
Yeah, and I mean, with 2 leg kits and a center support, you can get the 2 smaller tables, you can get the bigger table. If you got one more center support and a leaf, you could do the XL.
Yep.
A lot of options there.
We were super impressed with how good the center supports are providing stability. In the video we showed, you see me jump right up on the table. And even when we did the XL, it was like, do we do this here live? And I said, yeah, we're doing it live. And I jumped right up on the thing, and it was amazing.
Yeah, we cut the audio out of the video, but that was essentially the conversation. Is he just starts climbing up on it unprompted.
He's like, oh, my dad's going to die. No, it's really good.
Ron says, I'm currently in for the Viking topper and was nervous about damaging the wood when putting the dining cover on. But watching your video put me at ease. It looks pretty easy.
Yeah, it really is. And I very much have the same concern. The first thing that I wanted to know is even cardboard. It's amazing how abrasive cardboard is. So when we package our toppers, we package them either in the storage bag or in plastic so that the cardboard doesn't touch the finish. This powder coat is really heavy duty, but it's amazing how even cardboard vibrating and shipping could cause a little bit of, not really a scratching or anything like that, but just take a little bit of the sheen off almost. I was concerned about that with these covers. So immediately we tested that. And sure enough, that powder coat is abrasive enough to where we noticed a little bit of that on my Viking topper. Immediately we went to test that once we got the prototype. One thing about prototypes, I'll answer your question about the tape that I was going to get to here, but the prototypes are never perfect. And you want them to be perfect, but that's the point of prototyping. It's to find out what's wrong with what they're doing. We want to make sure we get it right. So sometimes I have to go through 2 or 3 prototypes, and that's the time problem. That's the time that it takes so long, the back and forth. And I'm an attention to detail guy. Those that know me, how picky I am. And my vendors, I think, roll their eyes. Well, does anybody really care? I don't care if anybody cares, but I care about it. And that means we got to make sure that this is okay. Right away, we went to thinking about how we would deal with that. And the best solution was one we already have for the bottom of our rails. the bottom of our rails have this 3M rubberized material that creates this friction footprint so it doesn't move. That means your dining cover won't move. It also protects all your fine furniture. I never worry about telling someone, hey, you can put a topper on your fine Amish $5,000 dining table. I don't worry about that because I know how good this material is. So anyway, we've put that on the backside, and that will be going across your rails to protect them, and it doesn't leave a residue or anything like that.
Anne says, if I put the covers on mine, I'll buy an inexpensive vinyl tablecloth.
I think that's somebody else mentioned that. I don't know if Anne was in before, but for a dining solution, the cover will provide really nice stability, but I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Even just from stainability and washability. If you have a tablecloth, that's always a good idea, I think.
Sean says, are you going to be able to show us the details of the newly unlocked game carry bag?
Yes, we are. I'm so glad you asked. We just got in some of the samples from Game Hall. Next week, we're actually going to hopefully have a guest on the show. We'll see. The owner of the company has a full-time job too, so it's really hard. But William Faust works for Top Shelf Fun, and he is known for the Game Hall system. And these bags are spectacular. Our good friend Jamie Keggy from the Secret Cabal had partnered with William to make their Game Hall Secret Cabal bag for their Kickstarter. Speaking of which, special announcement, Jamie Keggy of the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast is going to be on our live show, question and answer show, this coming Friday. And that's the current plan anyway. And we're going to talk about some of those kind of things. But anyway, we have a prototype of our bag being made right now. We're hoping it actually is done, and I just got the tracking numbers. So hopefully we're going to get that before the end of the Kickstarter, and I'll actually be able to show you. We're doing a custom dye to get this really nice gold color that's like in the banner of our logo versus the one that they had to produce it in is a little bit brighter yellow. It's fine, but again, attention to detail. We want our colors and just make it look really cool. And some of the functionality of this bag with our cup holders is almost perfect for a tote for your accessories. So it's not only a game bag, it's also an accessory bag. I'm really excited about it. And we have some special plans for that towards the end of the campaign too. So yes.
Looks like Raymond was just chiming in, mentioning when you were talking about the topper sizes, about that, the 1 inch from each end. So you actually have 2 inches total, less than the outside dimensions.
Yeah, correct.
Just a little clarification there.
And he would know because he made this awesome, cool under table out of Calyx shelves and an MDF, and he's a construction guy too. So that's pretty cool. We have a lot of stretch goals that we have not gotten to yet. We have 16 days left in the campaign. There's a couple products I want to show you. There's been a few things I've still been waiting on some production details. And before I revealed them, I just want to make sure I can do what I say. So while I would love to throw a bunch of stuff out there, I need to know that I've done enough diligence to make sure that we're going to meet deadlines and that it makes good sense cost-wise. But we have a couple more things, too, that I think you guys are going to enjoy. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to reveal them now. But as always, we're not going anywhere. We're continuing to develop our product line, and we want to continue to get wider in the things that we are offering. And it's very possible that early first quarter of next year, we should have our leg kit and dining cover solutions for all of our wonderful Mycroft owners. At that time, maybe we'll have more products developed at that time. And we're a small team doing big things. And we work like dogs. Trust me, there's not much grass that grows underneath our feet, but our feet is...
Yes, precious.
Yes, precious.
Digital Heartbeat asks, would it be feasible to share STLs for the rail locking system with the community so do-it-yourselfers could make game-specific accessories if they had a 3D printer?
That's interesting. You know, it does get into a little bit of our copyright concerns with our proprietary system. Also with some of the legalities of doing that. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with that, so I'd have to talk to some people a little bit more because we actually have a use patent type of on our products. So we'd have to think about that a little more.
David says, with the leg kit installed on a topper, what is the total floor to top height?
Great question. The top of the topper with the legs are actually 28 inches. They're a really stout leg. They're 28 inches, but it can be leveled out to about an inch. We really recommend that you know, the less you bring it out, the more stable it is. The longer you make that thread, the more wobble you're going to get. So that's up to you to decide, but with it installed as designed, the top of the rail will be at 30.5 inches. The bottom of the rail is 27.5 inches for your leg clearance. So there's plenty of room for most standard size chairs, but you do have a little bit of flexibility to go up 1/2 inch, at the max 1 inch.
Judy says, if the table is wider than the topper, will the cup holders still work or will they hit the table?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it gets kind of complicated to explain sometimes. But what's the easy way to show you is this. Where this goes into the rail, right here, it goes in about 3/4 of an inch. That leaves over 3 inches, actually 2.75 inches, that your under table could still be showing, and this would still connect into the rail, and you'll be able to collapse or expand your cup holder. You'll notice that it's slightly tapered, so you actually get a little bit more than that. But if you collapse it, it could still set flush and not cause any problem whatsoever, and you still have a can holder and still have a component tray. I think you can see this is a good point. Josiah is showing the video. Our table downstairs, the under table, sticks out just a little bit on the one side.
Yep. Just here's a frame from the video. You can see this is about 4 to 5 inches here.
Yep.
And so this double cup holder, if it would be out, the table's out just a little too far to pop those down. But because the table is kind of rounded on the edges, so if you have like an oval table or a table that, you know, even most typical dining tables aren't sometimes perfect rectangles, on the corner, which is where you put the cup holder anyway, if you had someone sitting there, it still pops down. So
yeah. Now, I think the way we have our table set up there, we're showing more on one end, just so you can see that kind of thing. You can cheat that in the middle of your table depending on the length of your table. Great question.
Raymond, good night, Raymond. He's off for the evening. May the 4th be with you.
Thanks again, Raymond, for all the great help. Raymond's been a real blessing from the Netherlands. I always say Denmark. Looking at the Kickstarter campaign while we sleep, and he's been able to jump in and answer questions more quickly than waiting till we get up. When we wake up and get to work, I'm usually up about 6 a.m., but it's like there's a pile of social media messages, Kickstarter messages, comments. There's a ton to get through in the morning. And so it's been really helpful that he's been able to quickly respond as best he can. Sometimes he has to defer and say, well, you better check with Berkey on that one, but really appreciate it.
Willie asks, how wide is the double cup holder?
Good question. The double cup holder is 9 inches by 14, right?
I think so. That's the number that was sticking in my head.
It's
on our FAQ, I believe.
It is on the FAQ, but now it's sticking in my head. It's A moment of truth.
How well do we know?
Yeah, 13 and a quarter. 13 and a quarter. I think we called it 14. Alrighty.
We are caught up on questions. How crazy is that?
That's awesome. Well, we've been doing these question and answers during our business hours because there's so much going on. Can get here. I'm generally working late into the night. And Josiah has a lot of commitments as well. So it's a little bit more difficult by the end of the day. I'm definitely not as fresh by the end of the night as well. And I'm also doing a lot of interviews on different shows, and they tend to be in the evening time. But we're going to try to schedule at least one show that they won't call it a show, our GameStopper Live Q&A, where we can actually engage you when you can join us live. We've actually talked to several guests. Jamie Keggy, I mentioned from the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast, is going to come on the show. Talk to Mark Maya from Board Game Coffee, and to have him on the show. And we have a couple other people that have our toppers that are either in the industry or that type of thing that can bring a little bit of perspective. We actually have a game store owner that we're hoping that's going to be able to join us likewise to give you a little bit. Now with the way the world's been this last year, using StreamYard for us to virtually get together is a nice way for us to invite a guest on their show and be able to talk with you guys.
Chris asks, can any lateral force unhinge the cup holder from the rail? Just wondering if they lock in place or if they get bumped and would come unhinged.
Yeah, they lock in pretty good. I mean, if you sitting underneath it and you bring your knee up, and then you'd have to bring your knee up pretty significantly and push to the side to get it to move. Generally speaking, they just lock in there. So, and I think the single cup holder might be a little more susceptible to that compared to the wider one, as that has 2 points of contact. But it's really not ever been an issue with this particular design. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. The modularity and the strength and the functionality, I never would worry about this being in a commercial setting in a retail store. I would never be concerned.
Judy asks, says, my daughter is getting married and will have gaming at the reception. We are buying the Minecraft.
Cool.
If we buy extra mats, the mats will hang out over the reception table. Could that work?
One thing that's really nice, surprisingly, about our mats, they're 3 millimeter and they have a premium stitched edge all the way around them. We did 400 game mats for the Origins Game Fair. And we had some of the 36 by 72 inch mats made for the hot game area for the Origins Awards. And the tables were only 30 inches. So they draped over the table about 1.5 inches on each side. And it rolled just really nicely, almost comfortably. It didn't pucker. It just kind of rolled nicely over the table. Now the mats were right about the same length. So if the mats would have been longer than the under table, the corners might have puckered a little bit more, but because it's pretty heavy material, so it's not going to drape like a drapery fabric or something. But it rolled just really nicely and worked really well.
Jack asks, how does the dining topper look?
I want to go to that wedding.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Jack says, how does the dining cover look with a colored rail? Having a jet black dining table doesn't match much of my furniture.
How does the dining
cover?
Oh, the cover.
Mm-hmm.
The topper. Oh, that's
how does the dining cover look with the colored rail?
Okay. The dining cover actually, when it's on, goes over the wood. If you got the luxuriant rail, So it actually matches the black aluminum on the sides really well. If you notice on the pictures that we're showing there, that's showing over our, you might not have seen the video that we just showed, but we just put up a video showing the installation of the dining cover and how it actually matches. Josiah is doing a nice job there showing you the pictures.
They can't see it right now.
Oh, they can't see it. I can see it, but it looks really nice. Black is a neutral color that goes with a lot of decor. We realize it's not maybe perfect for everybody's home. So again, we don't have the ability to make multiple choice of different finishes and that type of thing. We're not a woodworking company. We have companies we work with that make wood products. Our main manufacturer is a plastics company that actually CNC cuts and does all the assembly of our product. And then we custom pull and deliver the products from our shipping warehouse. So we have a lot of fantastic partners, but we're not a woodworking company. So we're not fully equipped to do all of those type of things, as cool as that might be.
Here's just showing an example. So this is over, so I can see this now, is over the rail. And
there you're seeing it does show the wood corner of our Viking sculpted topper. Now, if you have the standard topper or the oak topper, the corner is HDPE black, and then it blends in just really nicely. At the end of our video, you see it on a standard Watson topper, and that shows how it covers all the way to the end and matches really nicely.
All right, so Brian says, for what it's worth, we use our topper every weekend and we've never had an issue with kicking the cup holders out.
Thanks for the feedback. Appreciate that, Brian. Brian's been a great backer. He's been with us quite a while. And that's one thing about our community. Game Topper Nation became a thing in 2018 where we set up a private Facebook group. And I said, listen, this is not a place for customer service. If you have an issue, you email support@gametoppersllc.com or email me, Berkey, at gametoppersllc.com. I take phone calls. People can't believe it. And I'm thrilled to do that. Our customer service is very important to us, and we work very hard to implement that. And so if you have a problem, always just reach out to us. But this group was just for fun. It was to share the pictures of games you're playing and ideas that you have. And I oftentimes will get on there and say, hey, what do you think about this? So you've become a brain trust, in so to speak. And the community is so good and so fun. And, you know, if people are having a concern, 10 people will jump in there and answer and help out with their experiences like Brian just did. And he's been a part of the community here for a while, and it's so wonderful. It's really honestly what fuels me most of the time. This isn't an easy job. What we do is not easy. We work our tails off, and we do it because we love this hobby. The financial reward of what we do doesn't compare to the gratification that we get for upgrading everybody's gaming experience. That's really the mission. So
Jack says, okay, that makes more sense. Some of the pictures kind of showed some color underneath, so I'm glad to hear the color rails are completely covered. That should match better. One just side note on that is some of the pictures done early on, this is a prototype. So we received it, and in fact, the production version is just a hair bigger on all sides, just to make sure that it's covering over, even when there's a little bit of wiggle room there. So it's things like that when we're prototyping, we just have to test out and then see how it works and then improve from there.
Yeah, that's, you know, it always irritates me, to be honest, because I want it to be the way it's supposed to be the first time, but it's just not the way things work. And so you keep paying for prototypes. It drives me up a wall. But I noticed that it was very close. So it was kind of fiddly to get it exact. And it was like, we need to add another 1/8 of an inch there because we don't want water rolling off and then rolling into the rail. Just little things like that. We're paying attention to those details. So, you know, hopefully you'll see that we deliver high quality products. And again, they are cost-effective, solutions too. They're not crazy high-end $5,000 topper, that type of scenario, but it's still good.
Digital Heartbeat says, good stuff. Been looking to build my own or buy a game table for a bit. Really excited about your product and your excitement for it. I'm a backer and excited to see where you go in the future.
Thanks so much. Glad to have you a part of Game Topper Nation. And if you haven't joined Game Topper Nation, feel free to send an invite. Go to the Game Topper Nation Facebook group, and you'll get access, and I approve each one of those. If for some reason you don't get approved, realize I get a bunch of spam ones sometimes. And if your account looks funny at all, I'm not going to approve them because I don't want any spamming going on in the Facebook group.
Brian says, I was working on designing my own as well, but the cost and time to build what I wanted was prohibitive. The topper is perfect for my purposes.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
And then Jack says, I bought some mats from you in the past to hopefully build my own table, but never got any closer to finishing. Excited to finally buy the whole table from you and use the mats.
Thanks so much, Jack. That's fantastic. Glad to have you a part.
And Patrick says, finally going to get a chance to play with my game topper and with all my vaccinated friends this week.
That's awesome. I think everybody is excited to get back to the topper.
Can't wait for the legs and tabletop. So if anyone was on the fence, Game Topper customer service led by Josiah is an absolute world class. Well, thank you, Patrick.
It's true. Josiah, we've talked a lot about how we treat our customers. And in business, I've always had two philosophies. The one is to treat others as I want to be treated. I don't like being treated antiseptically with a auto responding email. I don't like it. So that's why I'm not going to do that to you. We also, the other core principle is to give people more than they expect. And these are principles that I've handed down and communicated with Josiah. And he likewise has had that same thoughtful commitment to taking care of our customers. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes people are frustrated about something and they don't always ask nicely. We're here to help. We're not going to stiff anybody. And so just let us know what we can do to help. And if we can, we will. And he's been so great to work with. I never have a worry that he's not going to take care of my customers because he very much cares about you as well. And we hope to continue that as long as we're running the show. I said, I don't care how big we get. We're going to treat people like they matter.
Yep. Yep. Well, we're caught up on comments.
All right. Well, one of the things that I wanted to mention just quickly and that we're going to be doing a big update on is our gaming mats. Our mats, I'm so proud of them. They're like my kids. I'm proud of them too, and I love them all. I have ones that, it's like when we had the adventure mat, it was my favorite mat. I love that mat. It was our #1 selling mat. And then when that Viking mat came along,
yeah,
hallelujah.
You're saying you like some mats more than others. It's like your kids?
I wouldn't say it like that. No, not like I love.
At least you have a lot
much.
Fewer kids than you do mat styles.
I have 4 children, and they are all my favorites.
So it's like we can be like your 4 favorite mats.
I love them equally, like my 4 favorite mats. This new set of mats, I'm just head over the moon over them. That Roman mat, we designed it with our artist Yaroslav, and he's amazing. The guy, I just love working with him. He's a professor of art in Poland, and he did the art for us, but it was based on the art from Foundations of Rome, the Arcane Wonders game designed by Emerson Matsuuchi. I love Emerson, love Arcane Wonders. They loved our thought process of designing a mat for their Kickstarter, which we've done over 1,200 mats for their Kickstarter in a 3x5 foot size but we were able to use our artists so we could make it available to all of our backers. We played Tribune on it the other day or a few weeks back. Concordia. It was perfect. It was. I know it's got a lot going on, and probably a little more than some of ours, but it wasn't distracting at all. The environment was so thematic that it just felt like we were in Rome. It was so cool. And then likewise, then Yaroslav does the pirate mat. Josiah looked at it and went, "That's my favorite." I'm curious if it will be our number one seller. I don't know. And then Vincent Dutrait doing the Great Wall. Are you kidding me? This thing is amazing. I mean, it's like I want it up on the wall. I couldn't talk more. The volcano mat. I mean, when we got that in and you saw it actually on the table with the black, and thinking, oh, we could play Fireball Island, we could play just Dinosaur Island. I mean, you could do D&D campaigns. I met Stefan Pokney from Dwarven Forge, and he wanted a volcano mat that he could put a lot of his miniatures on, things like that. Joshua Calloway, he did an amazing job on that mat. I don't know, guys. I just think there's a lot of cool things there. A lot of people want to unlock different sizes, and that becomes a real question for us to decide whether or not we can stock it or not, what the cost ramifications are of all of that, storage space, production, shipping, logistics. There's a lot more that goes into it than you think. We already have 162 mat SKUs. I mean, you watch our video on our YouTube channel that shows our warehouse. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. You'll see just how our clean room, where we do the custom pick and pulls, how that all works. And it's pretty cool, but we're adding to that. So we have to be careful, but we do want to give you more choice, and these mats are awesome. So I'm hearing a lot of people saying they want more XL mats because we have a lot of XL backers where they've bought the extension and they play on the 8-foot or 84-inch Watson, for instance, XL, more often. And so we want to provide these wonderful options. So we'll look at it for y'all.
Derek says, I always tell my oldest son he's my favorite oldest son, and my youngest, I tell he is my youngest favorite, my favorite youngest son.
I always tell my wife, you're my favorite wife. No.
And I do happen to be the favorite son. So.
He is the favorite son. My only son.
Yeah. Value Robot says, are you folks planning on going to any conventions this year? Gen Con, PAX Unplugged?
Yeah, that's still yet to be seen, to be real honest. It's hitting us a little funny with our production cycle and fulfillment cycle this year. We had hoped to run the Kickstarter campaign earlier, but due to world situations, this is what it is. I'm not sure. We wanted to go to European conventions. I don't think that's going to work now. I think there's a good possibility I can make Origins. We have a 3-year sponsorship with them. PAX Unplugged was a really good convention show for us. I love going there. It's a long ways. It's in the winter. There's a lot of variables. A lot of companies are not going to conventions now. I'm not exactly sure what the environment's going to be like for convention goers and or how great the shows will be this year. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of pent-up demand to go, and it just depends on whether it seems safe and we have good public view of doing it. So I really have to evaluate it. So we just don't know.
Board Game Dungeon says, would you ever do a custom mat size campaign?
Probably not. Logistically, it's a nightmare, and we are not making our mats domestically. We do source those, so we have to do those in quantity. Whenever you do a one-off mat, there's usually 6 to 7 screens that get wasted till they get it dialed in to do the quality we demand. And so there's a lot of cost associated with that. We've done some for publishers, some of our media friends that have done custom, but they're very expensive, usually $200, $250 to make one plus shipping. So sometimes we can get it piggybacked on our big order of mats coming in to save a little on shipping, but it's also a lot of work to do one thing that maybe we make $50 on. even at that high price. It's not profitable. It's a lot of work. I do it as favors to people, but we're just really not. It's not that easy of a process to do what we do. Great question. And I think we've covered a lot here, but we're going to be putting out a survey and an update about our mats so that we can actually get some feedback from y'all. And then we do have something that we're thinking about for the end of our campaign. We need to kick it up a few notches to get the numbers that I'm hoping for to make this a reality, but to commission a backer's choice mat. Well, of course, everybody's going to have different opinions. We're going to have a lot of different people that want this and that, and I'm not going to be able to do everything. But we might be able to do one. That means commissioning an artist. That means starting the proofing process, me drawing the sketch, getting the feedback, and then so that it would be available at a later time. It wouldn't be available immediately because obviously we still have to go through that process. And that generally takes me about 4 to 6 months. So it just depends on the project. But we have a lot of cool ideas that people have brought up and some ideas we've had that we want to present, and we'd love to get your feedback on all of that. Do you see a couple more? Or
yeah,
Corey?
I was just putting them up already there. But Corey said, "Hey guys, Gen 1 Waverly back here, and I've been back each round to upgrade components and options. Love watching your business grow. You're fantastic. Keep it up." And then Brian said, "Seeing your booth
Corey.
at PAX Unplugged 2 years ago is what gave me the final push to back last Kickstarter. Seeing it in person was the key to go for it."
Ah, cool. Yeah, we love going to the conventions. I have so many friends in the hobby too. I'm itching to go, but we'll just have to see how things work out. Hopefully things will go smoothly, and that would be really great so that we can kind of get back to normal, so to speak. But I think with that, everyone, if you have any more questions, feel free to join us in the comments. Feel free to email us at support@GameToppers LLC for any shipping type of questions. If you have other questions related to our product, you can always email me at berkey@gametoppersllc.com, or we're pretty active in the comments. We want to address everybody's questions and concerns. So please feel free to do that. We'll do our best to answer everything, as openly and honestly and transparent as we can. I wrote something in a last update, and I talked a little bit about dreams. We all have hopes. We all have dreams. We all have aspirations in our life. And when I first came up with this idea, it was just an idea. I made a prototype. A good friend of mine brought back that first prototype to me. So he said, "I thought maybe you'd want this." And I'm not that proud of that product, but it was a start. It was the beginning of a dream. It was an idea. And then it was a matter of persevering and pushing through to see your dreams realized. And all of the dreams, all the things that have brought us to where we are right now, it's all because of our backers. It's because of the people that have helped support us, the publishers that overwhelmingly embraced our ideas. I could just tell you so many cool stories, meeting Stefan Brachot from Yellow Games and Brian Pope from Arcane Wonders, and what incredible friends they've become of ours. AEG, John Zinzer from Alderatic Entertainment, and their whole team has been amazing. The group at Cool Mini or Not, Simon, what a wonder with David Dowse, David Peretti, and Carol Spain, and Pete Shirey, and the people that we've been able to interact with. It means the world to us, the trust, the support people have given us. We did the game mats for Sherry at Breaking Games, Sherry Spiro, and the relationships mean more to me than the transaction. That's why we do this. And we're just so grateful for all that you guys have done to help us get to this point, to upgrade everybody's gaming experience. And we want to continue to get better. And the more you help us, the more you share this campaign, the better we can do, the more people we can back this, the more resources we're going to have to make employment decisions and to go to those next notches. And we're striving to do that. Like the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast, striving lest we become cowardly manure. It's a great tagline. Wish it was mine. Anyway, thank you all so much. So glad to have you. And look for us to have a show up on Friday with Jamie Keggy of the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast. Thanks again, everyone.
See you later.